Hi Michelle, thank you for joining me. Could we start by you telling me your job title and the organisation that you work for?
Yeah, sure. I'm a chartered landscape architect and I work for a landscape design company called Deacon Design. We've been appointed by Eastleigh Borough Council to work on the One Horton Heath scheme.
At what point did you decide this was the path that you wanted to take?
Strangely enough, I'm actually the product of a careers advisor.
We like
that. I was sort of in a bit of a quandary when I was doing my A-levels. Do I do art, foundation, or do I go off and do a geography degree? And I'd gone for interviews for both. I went along to the careers advisor hoping that they might kind of sway me towards one or the other. And instead she said, what about becoming a landscape architect? I'd never heard of it, read up about it, and that was it. I was hooked, and I've never looked back. Yeah.
So how did you choose the university that you were going to do your degree at, and why did you choose to take that route of going to university to do a degree?
I contacted the Landscape Institute. They're our professional body and they were really helpful at the time. We do have a list of accredited courses. Me personally, I went along to about 3 universities, and when I went to University of Gloucester, it just struck a chord with me and it just clicked. So after the Bachelor of Arts degree, I then took a year out working. That's quite common for our profession. So I did that with Portsmouth City Council, had an absolute blast, really good fun, gained loads of experience. And then rather than going back to do my postgraduate diploma at Cheltenham, I took a change and I went to the University of Central England.
So can you tell us a little bit about the sort of tasks that you're going to be involved with as part of the One Horton Heath project that you're doing with us?
Yeah, sure. So we are involved with delivery of the road infrastructure and also some of the residential developments. So we're helping to shape how the place is going to feel, what it's going to be like. We've got a design code that we're following that gives us information, and we're working really closely with engineers, architects, urban designers, all sorts of different professions. And it just makes it so interesting that we're all collaborating towards this common goal.
Working together, that's quite a skill, isn't it?
Definitely, but it's something that you develop over time, you gain with experience, and it's almost part of the fun that it makes the experience, it makes the outcome much richer for working alongside other people. The company I work for, there are more females in our company than there are men. And again, working in construction, you do find that we are perhaps more unusual than others.
When we sort of look ahead to the future, how do you see your role developing? You know, what's going to be different about it in the next 5 to 10 years?
The demand for it we're seeing is increasing massively, and we need more landscape architects. I think the impact of climate change and the role that we can do in helping people to adapt, helping communities to adapt, I think we've got a really pivotal role in that. The value that everyone places now on green space, on being outdoors, that I think everyone has sort of realised just how important that is to them. So it's exciting, it's an exciting time.
If a young person is watching this video today, what would you suggest would be a good way forward for them? You know, what would be your suggested next steps?
I would say absolutely go for it. The other thing I would also say is reach out to landscape architects, because most of them, like me, are really enthusiastic about what we do, and they would be more than happy to chat to you about what we do. If you go to the Landscape Institute website as well, there's a whole list of registered practices, and I guarantee 9 times out of 10 you reach out to them and they would be only too happy to speak to you about it, maybe even to give you some work experience. And even if you didn't choose to do landscape architecture, you chose to do something slightly different, maybe engineering, it's being able to understand where we live, getting a greater understanding of the environment, but it's building contacts. You may find that those people you'll come back to and you'll come across them in your working life.
What curriculum subjects would they be learning in school that actually directly link to your job role now? What is it that you look back and think, thank goodness I did that as an option, or I need that every day in what I do?
Art is usually a strong one, design communication or design technology type subjects, if you're going to sort of focus and specialise in design. But the career of a chartered landscape architect is pretty broad, so you do get some people that focus solely on more report writing and research. So from that point of view, I would say it's probably more geography and perhaps science, maybe some biology as well.
Michelle, thank you so much for spending time with me today. It's fascinating to find out more about your job role. Thank you.
I really enjoyed it, thank you.